Hi ladies and gents, Gertine here, just bringing you a quick update to the Ice Queen build. I have basically finished it now, but this is easier explained in a video. So we were using Godstayer's Crown, which has a very nice effect, pulls everything in, all of our conjures, everything, just destroys stuff. Doesn't work that well with Cold Judgment, but you don't really need it when you're speed farming, honestly. It's just you've got that when you need it on bosses, etc. for wherever you're in. But for layer bosses, etc., we were swapping our Azarath for our Rustbitten Dirk. Now, I have it this way around because I have not dropped a Mythic or Sylvain, and crafting one-handers is horrendous. There's a huge pool. It just takes ages, and I honestly can't be bothered because I've got nothing to do. The second I get that mace, I'm done. So I would, in a perfect world, get the mace if you can get it. You want a GA weapon speed, weapon damage. That's quite important for your damage. Obviously, you'll do damage without it, but it is what it is. So the Orsavain is 25%, and it increases to 32.5 on the mace. But that's obviously X4, so that's quite a big damage boost. It's virtually the same as our new change, which is the Crown of Lucian. It's like 4 stacks of that for free, almost. So it's quite a large damage boost. So this in itself is a 58.8. So things don't round up in this game, so it's going to be 58. And then it's minus 13. So 45. It's not game breaking, but 45% damage, and that's damage you deal, not an additive. So it's pretty big, noticeable chunk. It's basically the same as just Starless Skies damage again. So it is really noticeable. Still 30 12 bosses if you swap over. They're going to be much quicker with Frostbitten Dirk, but any other content you want Azarath, and ideally, like I said, you want Osvin on here and then these two charms to swap over, because these two on Mythic aren't that great compared to Osvane on Mythic has a huge boost. They're not all created equal, sadly. But anyway, so to make this work, the reason I ruled this out initially is because we needed Ring of Starless Skies just to manage our resources. And obviously when we're on packs and stuff, this build has unlimited mana almost because of our resource gen. So all of our conjurations spamming Frost Nova, we've got a huge amount of mana coming in. But when we're on single target, this falls off quite hard, to the point where we need Starless Skies just to manage our resource. Bear in mind, we've only got 2 abilities that we actually use that use resource. So, you know, so to make this work, where our resource cost goes up 60, 120, 150%, it's a bit tricky, which is why I ruled it out. But it did actually occur to me that it is possible to do, because obviously the Mythic version has a decent resource cost on it, reduction, sorry. With hindsight, I mean, in a perfect world, you'd want a GA resource cost reduction on there, and you would want to masterwork crit it as well. But again, even if you want, it's a roll on that helm, so you'll always have it. But I would masterwork crit that. It should always be max as well, so it'll be 7, right? Yeah. So I would masterwork crit that with hindsight. Obviously, I'm not going to change this now with that gem strength on there. But to make this function on single target, you want to change both ring tempers to lucky hit, restore, and you want that to be a critical as well. So a masterwork crit. That's going to feel really comfortable to play. So in the trailer footage for this, I was using this setup where I've only got the one, and you can see that I will occasionally just have this like slight period of time where I'm stuck for mana. So I would personally make it. I personally feel like it would work. I've been testing it because I wouldn't send this out to you guys unless I thought it was playable, because I don't want to, you know, like, it's changing around this kind of gear now is pretty tricky. So, but this is worth it, honestly. So essentially we're doing the same thing, and we have these Crown of Lucian stacks here, which stacks to 6, and you need to keep that buff up. So essentially we want to spam our Hydras, blah blah blah, until we've got no mana and we've got 6, and then basically we start doing our damage, and as you can see we're hitting for silly numbers now. So it is really nice, really big scale. So again, when we start, and managing these stacks is quite tricky. It does get a little bit easier when you're sort of like in dungeons and moving around and playing and stuff. But on bosses, etc., if you have to reposition, it's pretty likely you're going to lose those. And in which case, your Hydra is much cheaper than your Inferno. So just mash your Hydra until you get 6 of these. Which, I mean, it's not a bad thing, honestly, because your Hydra is not doing the main damage of this build. And so it doesn't really matter if you lose the heads. It is nice to try and balance it around where you keep them and just mash these 3. But again, this is quite a big change. It doesn't really translate into like pit pushing power. It feels really nice when you're playing. I did just try a pit 20 and I did run out of time on it. I feel like I could do it with the Ossivane. I did also get like literally the worst mods to type. It was like the ghosts that teleport onto you, so it was just impossible to use my cold judgment, really. Like, it's weird that with the pit it's so random. You can fish for good ones, and you can get ones that's like full of rats that I could do in probably like 5 minutes. But again, a like high pit tier, it's just a dick measuring stick. It's pointless. I mean, like, once you can do like pit 110, like everything else in the game basically is pretty much covered, right? So I think the only downside of this is that it's just not ever really going to be able to do tier 12 Lilith or T12 Mephisto, but again, they're just dick measures. So there's no practical reason. They're actually crap if you want gear or anything. They're a terrible way to get it. And it's not our fault, it's not our gameplay or anything, it's just the balance of the game. Sorcerer, it's like F tier. This is like the pinnacle of what we can achieve, really, with messing around with a billion different mechanics just to get it to function. But you can play on T12, which is, you know, I mean, that's quite a nice big damage boost. It's a nice little change. It does require a little bit of messing about with your gear, which I do apologise if you do have like end game gear. But yeah, so you want this lucky hit chance, chance to restore. I don't have lucky hit on anything, and it's functioning quite well. So your Hydra lucky hit chance is per head, and it is terrible. It's like 2. It's really, really low. It's lower than that. It's really low. It just never procs anything. But the your Ice Blades has quite a decent lucky hit chance, and so does your Familiar. So when you're spamming these 2 specifically, yeah, when you're spamming these 2 specifically, you do tend to get quite a bit of mana back, which is, it's nice. So, you know, if you try one, and if you like it and feel it out, then obviously the best case would be to just get away with one and to have the crit damage. But honestly, if it was, you know, you're not losing an insane amount of crit damage. So I would probably try with the 2, because, you know, if you're spam farming bosses, you do, on tier 12, you do want it. But they are quite quick, as I showed in the trailer footage. I did the T12 boss layer thing with the 2 of them, which is worst case for us, because I'm not really getting the benefit of this until they move apart. So I can do normal tier 12 bosses, like greater bosses, in sort of 15 seconds, something like that, with this setup, with Rustbit and Dirk. And I mean, that's quite good going, really, considering we're basically playing a sort of F tier build, really. I think it's a bit higher, honestly, but I'd say it's basically like a high B tier build, I'd say. But if you like playing with Hydras and that kind of thing, then Conjurations, then we've given you an option to do it, which has been fun. The crafting the one-handers is so grim. Again, Crown Illusion seems to drop a lot for me. I've got to be honest. I've got it on like multiple classes. Seems to drop a lot. The chest is actually really easy to roll. So if you are doing your like sort of first mythic, the chest is like a 1 of 2. So you've got literally Raiment of the Infinite and Raiment of the Sea are the only things that you're going to get out of there. So I would definitely do that. Ice Hide's nice, it's just extra damage. It doesn't work on bosses, so again, I wouldn't spam for that really, it's just nice to get. Essus is pretty good, there's not that many boots, and you get that pretty quickly. But yeah, rolling the weapon's going to be grim, guys. I don't want to make it all doom and gloom, but it is pretty grim. So the reason it's grim is because it will do this. So all of these one hands are in that pool. So you got 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you got a 1 in 10 of getting the item you want, and then you also want a GA weapon damage on it. So yeah, that's not great. But anyway, yeah, it's just a quick update, just a thing on that tech and how to make it function. Because if I just tell you to use that and I don't explain the ring resource and stuff, you're just going to have a bad time. You're just going to run around with no mana and not being able to do anything. So anyway, that is genuinely me done for this season. I'll catch you guys on the next one. But yeah, next season I'm going to come in quite hard with this. I will probably start with Necro and quite quickly pivot to this. It's just Sorcerer is really grim to level, especially when you've got nothing. It's just so slow. Necro minions, it's really, really powerful with no gear. And then you can just boost yourself with Whisper Caches. But anyway, I will endeavour to have a guide up for this quite early. Like I said, I'm going to play around with it a little bit and see how I can get it to function on the lower torments with basically like just shit gear, and see what we can do. Because I'm not going to feel comfortable putting a guide out there unless it is playable. But anyway, right, I'll catch you guys on the flip side. I'll catch you next season. Cheers, thank you for enjoying the build.